Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And now that the US Cellular T-Mobile deal is officially complete, it's a closed deal. It got approval. It got two approvals, one from the DOJ, one from FCC, and now both of the companies closed the merger. It's done. So now what's T-Mobile's next focus, right? T-Mobile, of course, and like I said in the previous video, I don't think this integration is going to be that long. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised how quick T-Mobile does this. For those of you who remember, during the Sprint T-Mobile integration, T-Mobile was doing like 1,000 radio upgrades a week, according to them, right? So this integration is going to be, I don't want to say a piece of cake, right? But it's going to be very, very, very quick. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised how quickly they're going to be able to integrate everything, right? The network, the core, the getting the customers onto the billing system. They're going to be able to do this very, very quickly. So now what's next for T-Mobile? Outside of this deal, when I thought about it like a few months back, even before this deal was announced, I thought outside of US Cellular, what else could T-Mobile get on wireless that they haven't already gotten, right? And then I looked at C Spire and a couple of other companies, and I was like, that would just really be incremental, right? It wouldn't be like a huge one. But then US Cellular, that was the biggest one that they could get outside of Sprint. And 5 years later, they got US Cellular. So now everything else is incremental, like Viaero, C Spire. They don't really need that, in my opinion. They really don't. They just need to put their heads down, invest, and build out, and the rest will work itself out. So now what's next? It's got to be the shift of focus next has to be towards fiber. That's got to be a big vocal point for the company moving forward. It has to be. In wireless, they got everything. They got Sprint, they got Swiftel, they got Nextel, they got, you name it, they got it. You know, they got Chantel Wireless, Metro PC, they got everything in wireless. They've been getting the green light. There isn't much left for them to get. Now it's more focused on spectrum and future auctions, right? That's the focus now when we're talking wireless. But now the company have to shift towards fiber. They have to. So they have to figure out, okay, can I make this big purchase? How do we scale and grow that now? Because analysts are going to ask those questions. They're going to say, hey, you're starting to gain some traction on fiber, but your competitors are here. Your competitors are going there at scale. What about you? Right? How are you going to get bigger scale on fiber? That's going to be a big question. And T-Mobile's kind of, vaguely answering those questions. If we find a deal that we like, we're going to invest. No, that's not going to work. They're going to have to really show us a roadmap. They kind of showed us a roadmap, but Lumos and Metronet are not going to get them there, right? Those two have really sparked the conversation and really put T-Mobile in a place of being behind, if that makes sense, right? Because now the market is looking at it, okay, T-Mobile has these players now, and boom, they're behind. Because before, T-Mobile wasn't really doing anything in fiber, but now they are. So now they have to, now the conversations and speculations are going to start, right? The M&A is going to be big under this administration. Now the talks are going to be, is T-Mobile going to take a stab at Google Fiber? Are they going to try to do, I don't know, some other companies out there, Ziply, whatever the case? Are they going to try to do the cable merger? That's going to be a hot topic in the coming months. That's where the focus needs to shift now. There's nothing else left in wireless, right? And everything else like Viaero, I mean, that's just incremental stuff really doesn't boost the company much. They've overbuilt a large part of that footprint, and they can build sites very quickly. So not a big deal in my opinion, but fiber is where they're going to be questioned. That's where they need to shift focus towards. What's the quickest way for T-Mobile to scale? And I got to leave it up to the senior team, the senior executives. They've made all the right calls. They've gotten all the green lights. They've made all the right calls. They made the best decision for the company, and they've been on a absolute tear for years now. And I just don't see that slowing down. There is not one competitor that has really challenged T-Mobile. Not AT&T, not Verizon. Nobody has really challenged T-Mobile yet. So fiber is where T-Mobile's just behind there. That's decades worth of work and investment from AT&T and Verizon. T-Mobile's just going to be behind there. I don't care how you spin it, twist it, flip it. Even after maybe Google Fiber, they're just going to be behind. They are just going to be behind if they go after Google Fiber, whatever the company might be. They're going to be behind at scale. That's just what it's got to be. So we'll see how T-Mobile continues to move on fiber, but I think that's where the focus is shifting. Wireless, I mean, they have achieved any and everything that they've wanted, and I think they're going to close the gap to the competition, and I think any difference is going to be negligible, and it's going to be so small that it just, at some point, it just won't matter anymore, right? It's going to be tit for tat. It's going to be, I cover here, you don't cover there, we both cover here. I can build a few more sites to cover there. That's what's going to be the conversation in the future, right? That's just where the industry is today. In the past, of course, that conversation was valid because T-Mobile was thousands and thousands of square miles behind. I mean, you were traveling stretches of like 20, 30 miles and had no service on T-Mobile. That's just not the case today. And some might still say that that's the case in their specific area, but now you got Starlink. Now you got T-Satellite. You know, if you're connected to T-Satellite, that is still a connection, right? That's just what it is. So, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.